Res tends to group carvers together on projects. So for this event, I had the opportunity to partner with Res Hofmann. She's a German carver, phenomenal. She's only been carving a couple years and is amazing. Very talented, super fast. She's very vivacious and funny, really likable. She's one of those people I think that are magnetizing and people are drawn to them. I had seen pictures of her work and we had talked a little bit about the idea beforehand. So I knew that she was very capable, but I didn't realize that I was gonna have such a fun time. We got the idea for Leda and the Swan because at the time I was seeing swan images everywhere and I really wanted to try carving one. And so when we were talking about what we wanted to carve, I said, well, I'd like to carve a swan. I mean, I don't know what we do with that. And she said, well, I wanted to carve a woman. And when talking to one of her other carver friends, Sebastian, he suggested, oh, well, maybe this myth, Leda and the Swan, which Zeus comes down to earth disguised as a swan and makes love to a mortal woman, Leda. We decided to take it into the erotic realm. I mean, I guess you kind of have to anyway. It's Leda and the Swan. It is erotica. I really did enjoy the subject, and I kind of like the idea of doing something a little bit edgier. So often with chainsaw sculptures, they are wildlife or there's something more traditional. So to do something a little bit edgier and feminine and sexy was really fun. In the States, I tend to work with cedar and pines, but in Germany, they use a lot of oak. And this was the second time I've worked with it. So on the first blockout day, it was kind of like my arms were surprised by it because I was having a really hard time cutting through and making the big blockout cuts. By the second or third day, my arms had kind of gotten used to it more and I started to feel a bit more fluid with it, but it was almost kind of like a shock to the system how much harder that oak is. I also found that the sawdust hurts a lot more when it flies back at you. And at some point I was using the power gouge and my t-shirt pulled up above my pants and the chunks the power gouge was throwing off of the oak were so hard they bruised me. I had like a smattering of bruises all across my belly just from sawdust. So how do you feel about today and how it went?
Ja, also war viel Arbeit, aber es geht voran. Also wir haben zumindest schon mal eine Grundform da. Die Brüste sind noch ein bisschen zu, aber
No one's gonna complain.
muss auf jeden Fall noch ein bisschen dünner werden. Aber es läuft. Wir haben noch Zeit.
End of day one. That's the hardest day because it's the big blockout day where you use the biggest, heaviest saws and you're doing the biggest cuts and you're moving the most wood. And my back feels it, my lower back. Mein Rücken, wait, was it Rücken? How do you say it?
Rücken.
Rücken. Mein Rücken ist kaputt. Is that right? Yeah, all right, good. Anyway, yeah, so, but it'll get easier and we have time. Luckily, this is a longer event. We're working together, so I think we could still pull this off. Prost. Prost. End of day one.
They built a cedar wood-fired hot tub. I don't know if this is a European thing or just a BLOCKHAUSEN thing, but there are no bathing suits in this hot tub. So I've heard about it for years. I've seen the photos. I didn't think that I would have the guts to do it because not really the standard here in the US to get naked with your colleagues, but it's an icebreaker.
Okay, end of day 2. This is the third time we've tried to film this. Okay, end of day 2. Let's talk about that all over again. What did we get done today? What did you get done today?
4 geschafft. Die Leda ist vom Grundstock her schon mal fertig. Sie hat zwar noch keinen Kopf, kein Gesicht, macht nichts, aber der Körper vom Grundstock passt. Die Hand sitzt, wo sie sitzen soll.
Sitzen. It looks like it's doing more than sitzen.
Morgen noch Feinschliff, ein paar Muskeln, aber dann sind wir auf jeden Fall auf einem guten Weg.
You carved the stones.
Ja.
Die Steine.
Die Steine.
Steine.
Ja.
Die Steine. It's real pretty. I like the pattern.
So schöne Mischung, soft waves.
There's metal in here somewhere, and it's staining the wood, and I was hoping to cut it out, but it looks like it's not going away. The swan is missing its head still. Real dramatic, like, curl. And here's a big chunk of oak. We'll cut out a block. We'll glue it on top, and that'll be part of Leda and part of the swan's head, because she needs a little bit more brain, maybe some hair.
Much more brain.
My favorite part of today was when we started working on the carving together on this big piece. I've never done that before. I've never worked on a single piece with another person, so it's a new experience for me, and it's fun. We had to be really careful not to touch saw tips or cut each other, but I think we managed pretty well. Luckily, the piece is fairly large, so it's easy to get on either side of it and still be able to stay fairly safe.
A lot of times at these events, the carvers bring their families, and it is more than just the job of one person. The whole time that we were there, her husband, Rolly, was helping with the children, but also helping carry heavy things and move equipment in and out. He held the camera a few times for me, so I could also be in the video. So it is nice to see such a beautiful partnership. We had things in common that I wasn't expecting, and she's an unconventional mom, so I really enjoyed that, and having her children around was really sweet. In fact, her daughter Milla goes by Millie, which I thought was interesting because my daughter's named Millie, so even our daughters had sort of the same name.
Okay, so what are we doing and what's happening?
Wir haben das Problem, dass sie nicht richtig schön aufsitzt. Es sieht noch zu unnatürlich aus.
Yeah, okay, so it's not quite connecting. Don't drop, no drop it.
Einfach runter, oder?
Oh mein Gott.
Der Swan macht's anal, die macht sich selbst.
Und von oben
Du liegst davor und kannst Kamera. So, warte. Kannst loslassen.
Oh.
Mehr.
Wir haben es mit PU-Leim gemacht und einem Holzdübel. Der wird morgen wieder abgeschnitten. Die ist jetzt komplett fest. Und morgen kommt der Schwan in den Hals.
Yeah, so I was cutting out the Schwanenkopf.
Schwanenkopf, ja.
Is that what you
Richtig.
say? Schwanenkopf. Then I fucked it up at the last second, so we don't have room for the arm, so we may have to put a new piece in for the arm because I was rushing. And every time you try to hurry, you create more work for yourself. I don't know if it's the rain or the fact that we have a ton of work left to do still, and we only have tomorrow. But kind of feeling that point in the project where you just get a little overwhelmed. We got a lot done today, but there's so much to do still. Luckily, the water at the bottom doesn't have to be incredibly detailed, and we're using the hurricane, which makes that kind of thing go pretty quickly, and it looks very cool for the amount of work you put into it. So I think we're still fine. The main issue tomorrow morning... Thanks. The main issue tomorrow morning for me is to get that swan head carved out and connected, and it's also heavy and awkward, like everything. And connecting Leda today took a lot longer than I expected, and I'm sure tomorrow the same thing will be true for the swan head. And then now if we have to add the back of the arm, that's also going to take some time. So we'll see. We're going to be rushing, getting up early and rushing.
Fertig. Wir haben es geschafft. Say it.
Wir haben es geschafft.
I know I complained about the oak being hard and heavy, but you really can't beat the look of it when it's finished. The grain is beautiful, it holds detail really well, but its strength allows you to be braver and attempt maybe more delicate areas than you would normally feel confident with. All right, so I'm a little out of breath. That was a lot of work to do. And actually I have a little tiny bit of sanding and a little bit of gap filling in the morning. But for the most part, totally fertig. This place is fucking amazing. I don't want to leave. Like, I have to come back again because goddamn. And it's a weird thing to try to describe to all of you, but you can ask people who are close to me. This place is what I've been describing that I felt like I needed for a long time. Something like this doesn't exist in Austin, Texas, and I don't think it exists in most places in the world. It's absolutely perfect. And any of you who are into carving, into art, into just seeing some cool shit, you have to make it here if you can. Like, it's perfect. I feel really grateful right now. I'm emotional. You know, you work really hard and you don't get enough sleep and you drink too much with your friends, and then you get emotional. So bear with me. Yeah. I'm really grateful.